Dr. Sundus Mustaqim. She is an IR expert. Thank you so much, Dr. Saiba, for joining us in the studio. Agha Sahab mentioned syllabus. So, of course, if you start teaching your young students from the beginning that they should not go that way and, you know, adopt the extremist ideologies or fall victim to the people who are preaching those ideologies, so you will be kind of success. But this is a long road. It's a long term steps that we need to take. We take these steps today and we'll see the results in future, maybe 10 years from now. So have you started it? Because there is lot in the newspaper and the statements as the government is claiming that we have done a lot in terms of improving the syllabus.
Unfortunately, the target audience is not in the universities but in the madrasas, unfortunately. So madrasas are the main breeding ground that starts from the religious extremism turned out towards the violent extremism. That's how we, I would say, develop this terminology of countering violent extremism. The breeding ground or the main cause is the religious extremism. So actually they actually brainwash those people who are studying in madrasas, not in the mainstream universities. And there are, when it comes to counterinsurgency or to strategize this or to counter this terrorism, it all starts from the tactical counter-strategism or we need to make the strategies actually.
But we have seen several incidents in which the terrorist or the extremists, they come from from the educational background, from the modern schools. Take the killer of Sabeen Ahmed, for example. I mean, the lady killed in Karachi several years ago.
The Balochistan and the KPK is quite a different domain, because since, you know, the 95% of the terrorism has been conducted in Balochistan and KPK in Pakistan. But actually the main thing is we are not technically countering them, but we need to counter the mindset, we need to counter their finances, we need to counter their cyber network, we need to counter their all the facilities that are actually being the breeding ground from the
what is the easier way? You counter what your enemy is targeting you with any ammunition or with any weapon, or you start giving the alternate, the choices, or you improve the education or the thought process of the people you are targeting.
Again, it's all about the political and economic instability, because we are quite good in making policies, but we are not too good in making when it comes to implementation. When you know what happened in 1997, then in 2010 and 2014, previous governments actually they tried to come up with certain strategies or the military operations. So now finally we have come up with this solution that military operation is the only solution, because we have failed in making policies. What about the NACTA and the National Action Plan? Are we fulfilling all the 14 points of National Action Plan? Are we fulfilling all the points of NACTA? No, because these are all the policies. This all theoretically, this is all on the paper. But I think so far we have been successful in countering only through the military operations. So again, I'm on the view that military operation is the only solution. So after conducting this 10,000 of military operations, after Radul Fasad or Zarb Azb or all these military operations, so we have finally successfully targeted the Fitnatul Kharij or the TTP or all the terrorists.
Let me remind you what we have done.
Only through the military operations.
Dr. Saiba, let me remind you what we have done so far since the implementation of National Action Plan. More than 1 million intelligence-based operations were conducted. I'm glad you mentioned 1997 and 2010, but there was 2007 as well, when there was suicide blast almost in every major city in Pakistan every day. Gone are the days. I mean, it did not happen automatically.
So how we count? How we counted all these?
We did counter it. I mean, there was. I mean, according to my estimation,
there was. Right?
Sorry.
Only through the military operations.
I mean, of course. I mean, that was part of the strategy. This is what I'm saying.
But not the tactical strategy, but on the frontline operations. You know, we have successfully countered through the military or through the frontline operations. We are still lacking on the political ground because of the political instability. You know, because of the lack of democracy, because we have failed to complete the 5-year tenure of certain government. So that's why policies are not as I would say successful in our country as the military operations, because it's the
governments come and go, but no government would
policy should not
endorse any extremist ideology, or no government would say that we are okay with, you know, any terrorist outfit operating in Pakistan. I mean, this is something which every government, no matter which political party's government, they would always support that there should be peace, zero tolerance against extremism and terrorism.
Everybody say that in our respective
There
government.
might-
in the whole Asian
there
nation,
may be difference
like
in
a
their
few months
strategy,
back,
but
the
the core
Indian,
objective would be the same.
like few months back, the Indian Home Minister Amit Shah, what he said, that we need to, in the next few months, we are about to start again the national counter-terrorism policy for the India. So this is what we have been doing. Our different Pakistani government or different political leaders, they always come up with this bright idea that we are making this policy, national counter-terrorism policy. But we again, the policies of the current government is actually dependent on the future government, you know, and because since we are lacking the democratic solid grounds and we are lacking this political instability, so that's why the policies are not as successful, but the military operations are always been successful, and we see the only solution in terms of military operations.
We have a democratically elected government in the country, and you know, I mean,
they are trying. They are
trying, but we have the democracy, and I mean,
wish
there is
them
no
good
doubt
luck.
about it, and there is no
We can
no
only wish
question.
them good luck.
I mean, of course, but I mean, there may be some areas where we are lacking, but still we are, of course, a democratic nation and believe in the parliamentary super. Dr. Sundus, the question is, whatever we do, but the world look at us in a very through a very different lens, and the lens which the economically strong countries like the United States of America and India, which are providing to the world. And this misconception, whatever they are basically implanting in the minds of the people, that would not go away. You think that merely improving your presence on the social media would do the magic, or no?
Not of course on a social media, but on the practical ground, as well as Mr. Harris has said that we need enactment from within ourselves. But how would you do that when India through RAW can reach to your southern Punjab in madrasas, when India and RAW and Fitnatul Kharij can reach to your Balochistan through BLA, when TTP can reach to your KPK through the BLA and the TTP and the RAW, of course. How would you do that?
Brigadier Saab just mentioned that reports by Disinfo Lab that critically and explicitly mentioned and exposed that how India supporting a network defaming Pakistan.
Of course, not only
there
India
and solid
India and Afghanistan combined, they are doing within.
Of course, and Indian intelligence agencies involved in extrajudicial killing outside their borders. Take Canada, for example. I mean,
Canada and the New York and then the Pakistan and the Karachi and since. How would you do that when they are on your ground actually?
I mean, these are irrefutable evidence available against the enemy state. What else the world needs?
That's what I'm saying, as we three of your guests have said, we need enactment from within ourselves. So we need to counter on their ground, and the military has been doing this to get rid of all the good and bad Talibans collectively together. So through BLA in Balochistan and through RAW in your southern Punjab and in Fitnatul Kharij and your KPK. So we need to get rid of them on ground actually. And social media is just merely a thing, and you can propagate, you can manipulate social media. So don't rely on that. We need to make hardcore strategies, hardcore policies only through military operations and only through hardcore on ground reality. So making policies only theoretically, only on paper is not the only solution, but making policy to fight while standing in the front row, I think, is the only solution. And from the ground actually, from educational perspective, from madrasas perspective, from religious extremism perspective. So I think it all starts from the extremism is the root cause, whether it's religious or it's violent extremism. So all the provinces of Pakistan and we need to be on one page.